perfect. It's working.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Alright.
Careful, she's learning. She learned how zooming in works.
Hello everyone and welcome to Autocrat. This is episode 72, Posthomerica Part 2, R.I.P. Achilles.
Finally.
Just R.I.P. Achilles.
No. We did the other one, which is allies everywhere. I told you next time was going to be R.I.P. Achilles.
Today we're covering books 3 and 4 of the Posthomerica.
Yep.
You may have noticed that this is the third time we have titled an episode beginning with Rest in Peace.
I mean, I'm sure that means everything's going to go fine.
All we'll say is, hopefully Achilles doesn't have any money tied in a long-term investment.
Oh boy. Okay, my co-host is naffing off. I consider that impolite. They don't get this kind of problem on network shows. Good romantic lighting.
Now, is that done? By that I mean closing the curtains because I had a glare.
Yep.
Let's get on to the episode.
Yes.
Book 3 opens with Antilochus' body being taken to the fleet as the day dawns, accompanied by grieving Greeks.
Yeah. I mean, I can't imagine Achilles is the most upset, given that Antilochus was that guy who bullied his horses during the funeral games at the end of the Iliad and then threw a hissy fit when he didn't win.
Now, what the Greeks don't know, but we kindly get to because of foreshadowing.
Fantastic.
Is that Achilles is set to die today.
Ooh.
Achilles, as usual, business is business.
Sure.
He starts killing as the fighting starts up again.
Of course he does.
He makes it all the way to the walls and seems about to break Troy itself.
Whoa.
However, his murderous rampage up until now has been upsetting Apollo. In a divine voice, he orders Achilles back.
Don't try offending a god, boy.
Achilles is, however, undaunted and responds snarkily.
Yeah. Yeah, he basically says, get out of my sight, Apollo, before I kill you, even if you are a god.
Do it again with an even pettier voice.
Yeah, he basically says, getting into character, get out of my sight, Apollo, before I kill you, even if you are a god. Plus, you should have picked me first for dodgeball. Probably.
Apollo disappears, either as a cloud or into a cloud. Who really cares? He just disappears.
Yeah, language in the text and all that.
But he remains critical here. He shoots Achilles in the ankle with an arrow. Achilles falls, asking, "Who shot me?"
Ow! Who shot me?
He suspects it's Apollo, as apparently his mother Cetis has promised him this would happen.
Now, I really upped the effects for the dialogue budget today. You ready? I suspect it's Apollo because apparently my mother Thetis promised me this would happen. Yeah, thank you.
He pulls the arrow out of his ankle and throws it into the air, and then it goes super fast.
Right.
In fact, he throws it so far, it goes all the way back to Apollo, maybe killing everyone on its path. Who knows?
Maybe. I mean, the text didn't say. Quite impressive for a man bleeding heavily from the ankle to throw it that far.
Apollo goes back to Olympus and immediately gets an earful from his stepmother or / aunt, don't look too much into it, Hera. What have you done, Apollo? Achilles was pious and loved the gods, and what are you going to tell Thetis?
Yes, that's basically the gist of it.
Now, the other gods are upset because of this blatant favouring of Troy, and Apollo is shamed. Like, shame on you, Apollo. Anyway, back to Achilles, who we've left patiently waiting.
Yes, we have.
I'm sure he's just done lots of stuff while we were waiting.
Oh yeah, we pan back over to him and he's managed to make an entire forest out of woodwork, and then he goes, oh right, we're starting.
He's not dead yet, and he wants to fight.
Still?
Yeah. The Trojans are shrinking back from him.
It's impressive, even now.
You know, as we've been recording, have you found my accent changing?
We'll find out. I mean, a little bit, maybe, but when we get to episode 100, we'll do a comparison of your voice across number 1 and number 100. Anyway.
Achilles does a bit more killing, then yells at the Trojans that even after his death, they won't escape. The reckoning will come.
Thunderbolt, presumably.
And with that, Achilles dies.
Alright.
That's very underwhelming.
He's gone. The man who's been annoying me for, I want to say 14 episodes in a row, is gone.
How does he die?
He just does, like, arrow wound.
Oh, yeah.
Like, the arrow hits him and he bleeds out, presumably. Why he has so much blood in his ankle, I don't know.
Now, Paris is exultant and knows all Troy will rejoice. A battle now breaks out over who gets the body, with the Trojans wanting to drag it into Troy and the Greeks wanting to, stop them.
Well, yeah, seeing as soon as his body gets in, you don't want to know what's going to happen to it because of the Trojans.
During the fight, Paris is on the receiving end of a stone to the head and gets escorted away.
He never does anything.
Ajax chases the Trojans back into the city and Achilles' body gets recovered. There's a lot of mourning in the Greek camp, with the Greeks wondering how Peleus will take the news that his son is, dead.
Yeah.
When night comes, the Greeks clean the body at Nestor's recommendation.
I think Thetis and the Nereids show up as well, but...
Who are we talking
that was meant to be down there, I think. Let me copy-paste that, because I think that was a whole section that got moved. Yeah, there we go. That was meant to be there. I've no idea why.
Phoenix, now remember, that's the guy who basically raised Achilles and sees him as essentially his son, hugs the body, and Ajax mourns aloud. Briseis grieves. Briseis says that she's never had this much misfortune, not even when her whole family died and she was kidnapped. There's presumably a long silence at this point.
Just the sound of crickets.
The Nereids also grieve.
Good. If I remember to find some cricket sounds, I'll put them in. But if not, imagine crickets.
Put cricket sounds.
Alright.
Remember, the Nereids are the daughters of Nereus and Doris, one of which is Thetis. So basically his mom and his aunts.
Right, yeah. Got you.
At this point, Zeus emboldens the Greek army.
Like, gives them more courage.
Alright. This is so that they can look upon the veritable army of divinities that is about to assemble. Avenger!
It's not the Avengers.
Yes, it is. We basically get the Nereid and the Muses in the same place. Thetis kisses her son's body and hugs him. She's going to go to Zeus and lament that she was ever allowed to marry a mortal.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that makes sense. Without her marrying Peleus, this whole chain of events wouldn't have happened.
She grieves for Achilles, whom Zeus apparently gave glory to mollify Thetis because she was upset about the wedding.
Yeah, I mean, given how terribly we've seen Peleus treat her, I suppose her being upset about this wedding makes sense.
Basically, she's planning to go to Olympus and give Zeus a very hard time.
Right.
Not that kind.
We're not leaving that in. I think that's plan B.
However, the muse Calliope doesn't think that's a good idea. Don't provoke the king of the god like that.
Yeah, don't.
She commiserates with Thetis as they've both lost a son. This is because Calliope is the mother of Orpheus.
Ooh.
Remember him?
Yes. Bonus episode 12, I think.
Yeah, go check it out.
Yeah, the one that I definitely remember because I was there. That one.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway.
She says that Thetis should try to dry her tears and remember how well her son will be remembered. And after all, fate works even on the gods themselves. And so now, night falls and the Greeks go to sleep.
My goodness, Ajax, what's wrong with your nose?
Throughout the night, Thetis stays with her son, with the muse comforting her. The next day, the Greeks essentially remember what happened the day before, and the mourning begins again. This carries on for several days, with even Nereus mourning on his daughter's behalf. Finally, Achilles' body and loss of riches gets heaped onto a pyre. Zeus even lets some ambrosia rain down from the heavens onto Achilles. He gets Hermes to talk to the north wind Aeolus to help the pyre burn. Achilles' body gets burned and the remains buried in splendor and honor. Achilles' horse grieve, but the gods makes them, not run off.
Yeah.
Hello.
Oh. I thought you were recording.
We are,
we
that's
just
fine.
break it.
Okay. What time is the ferry?
We need to be there at 7 maximum.
At the latest, you mean?
Yeah.
Okay. Have you already packed?
Yeah.
Oh, nearly.
I've left the stuff there already to be put into bags.
Okay. Are you well?
I've been better.
Okay.
But at least I was at work. Yana did a big, "You're there!"
Good. I have a cello lesson. You'll have to make. Are you taking stuff with you to eat?
Yeah, we've got
I've got
sandwiches.
groceries from Act.
Okay. All right.
We were on the horses. Just say that line again in case it caught the door.
Achilles' horses grieve, but the gods makes them, not run away. Instead, they wait for the day when Achilles' son will travel over the seas to join them at Troy.
Achilles' son?
Yes, his son.
Alright, this is a blood feud now, it seems.
These horses have worked for Poseidon. It could be 3 of them, you don't know. Peleus, Achilles, and now Neoptolemus.
It could be 3 horses, but that's such a lopsided chariot. That was going to be an outtake, but now this is the hill I'm going to die on. What chariot has 3 horses? I mean, hey, Neoptolemus. That's the first time we've heard this name, but far from the last.
Alright. In fact, even when Neoptolemus is going to die, Zeus has decreed they will ferry his spirit to the Elysian fields themselves.
Right, we're going to have to work on the pronunciation of the name Neoptolemus, because it's going to be here a while.
Okay. At some point, we can analyze the Greeks' afterlife in more detail. Yeah, that'd be cool. But now is not the time, unfortunately.
Yeah. I really wanted to go down this sidebar of what the Elysian Fields are, and I thought, no, we need to finish the Posthomerica Part 2. Don't do it.
Poseidon shows up.
Oh, okay.
He tells Thetis not to grieve anymore. Achilles won't be in the underworld, but instead live among each gods like Heracles and Dionysus.
I meant cut me some slack.
I know. In fact, Poseidon will give him a sacred island in the Black Sea.
Now, this is where you let me take over for a bit, because there's a nerdy tangent. We can confirm this because of another source.
All
Jingle
right.
time! This source is called the Periplus of the Black Sea, written by someone called Arrian, who wrote a life of Alexander the Great, who wrote about Alexander the Great as a guidebook for the Emperor Hadrian.
Yeah.
Essentially, he tells Hadrian all about his travels around the region. In this book, he mentions the island of Leuce, spelled Leuce, which Thetis gave to Achilles. Apparently there's nothing there except a temple, a wood statue of Achilles, and some goats which people who land on the island offer up to Achilles. This island is, drumroll please, Snake Island, which we mentioned before as being the island that Iphigenia is on after she's taken away from her own sacrifice. Crazy how these things work.
Yeah, it is.
Anyway, back to the story. We now move from Book 3 into Book 4 and into the funeral games for Achilles. By the way, there's also some mourning for Glaucus, that grandson of Bellerophon, and a stream is made in his honour by the nymphs. It's
But
a
that's
side thing.
irrelevant.
Yeah, it's a side tangent, but hey, Glaucus came up again, so I thought it was worth mentioning. The Trojans take heart at all this grieving for Achilles and think that Zeus has helped them. Apollo probably scowling in the background. Who do you think fired that arrow, peasants? The Trojans wish that Hector was still alive so he could just massacre the Greeks at this point. The prediction is that the Greeks will soon leave. Not everyone is convinced though, still fearing Ajax and the like. The mood on Mount Olympus, meanwhile, is bleak, even among pro-Trojans. Hera asks why Zeus is helping the Trojans where he once married Achilles' parents to each other, but Zeus doesn't say anything. His mind is heavy with the knowledge of the sack that he knows is coming. Again, we'll play the foreshadowing jingle at this point. The next day, down in the Greek camp, Diomedes convinces the Greeks they can still fight even if Achilles is dead. Ajax is hesitant, but we get interrupted by Thetis arriving and summoning the cream of the Greek army. Nestor sings of Thetis and of Achilles, and ends with a prayer that Achilles' son will come from Skionos. Thetis now presides over the funeral games of her own son. We get a foot race during which Teucer gets his foot mangled by some divine intervention / leeches, don't worry about it, and Ajax wins. There's then a wrestle between Diomedes and Ajax, which Diomedes obviously wins.
Yeah.
It's Diomedes.
Of course.
The crowds cheer, and Ajax jumps up for round 2. Ajax wins this second match, and the crowds cheer both of them, but Diomedes then leaps up again. He's only stopped from starting round 3 by Nestor saying, "You're both winners, sit down, stop it." Don't worry, though. They're both winners, so Thetis gives each man 4 slave women.
Yay!
Yay! Note, though, all these women were taken from an island called Lesbos.
Alright.
I will let you conclude from that whatever you want. Anyway, during this whole contest, we get a mention of a man called Panopeus. He's rather irrelevant, but he's got something to do with a
horse, I think?
Yeah, a horse of some kind.
Probably not important.
Yeah, I'm sure it's not. Anyway, we get some people scrapping over a chariot, including Theseus' son, Acamas. Now, apparently, because I couldn't leave this alone, Acamas is the son of Theseus and Phaedra. You remember, she's that wife of his who tried to come on to his son Hippolytus and got the son killed. During this bout, Thetis gives out some bowls once given to Achilles by, again, drum roll, a son of Jason.
Ooh.
Hello.
Been to bar to France.
Been to bar.
Been to bar to France. Not to be opened.
It's lemon, we'll be fine.
Yeah, I wasn't going to open that.
Okay. You nearly forgot.
No,
Okay.
I thought of it. I wanted to take it
Ah,
last minute.
Okay.
I mean, I'd forgotten.
I'm going to go to cello lesson.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Have a good trip.
Thank you.
Have fun. Say hi to your parents.
Yeah.
Have a good trip. Let us know when you're there.
Okay.
Will
We'll let you
do.
know when we're on the boat as well, or properly.
Okay.
Do it. So anyway, by a son of Jason. The bowls were first made for the wedding of, drum roll, Dionysus and Ariadne.
Really, it's throwback time.
It's such throwback time. This page blew my mind.
It's not even Tuesday or Thursday.
It's not even Thursday. It's Friday as we're recording this currently. Anyway, we then get an archery contest which Teucer wins, winning the weapons of Troilus, son of Priam, and Hecabe. We might do a bonus on him at some point because Geoffrey Chaucer's actually written a book about him.
Okay.
I can't remember if he is an already dead son of Priam at this point, and if we've covered him before, or if he's coming up for the first time now. The text doesn't explicitly say, but yeah, my guess is he's dead. We'll cover him in more detail in a bonus, probably. I'm going to skip the rest of the funeral games, because you get the point and it will get a bit repetitive. So, with that, Book 4 and Part 2 of the Posthomerica ends here. So, Achilles is dead. We are officially living in a post-Achilles world.
And with that, have a great week, everyone.
You can finally stop whinging at me. Have a great week.
That was fun.